boy. Where did we leave off? I think with some broken Redux code, if I remember right. Some stuff to pick up and fix. Oh boy. Some complaints. Oh, right. Our async thunk config, whatever the async thunk action is not assignable to type any action. I think that was not causing us any problems. It's just just the type issue. Should probably fix it so that it doesn't keep distracting me though. Let's see. For now, I can cheat probably and just do that. Yes. I don't like all of these innies. It is pretty smelly. All right, so we had our store, and our settings slice, and the settings slice has some actions for us. Right, I think we were moving to have unsaved settings stored in our state, and then being able to then sync those. Okay, yeah, that's right. So how far did we get on that? All right, so we fully updated this function to take very basic on save, on update, on delete callbacks. Okay, and then we're passing in our handlers there. Did this work? Is that where we left off? Was this actually working? I suppose we can check that out, huh? Settings view. Let's see this. So the first thing is the save button shouldn't be there or reset if I haven't changed anything yet. Let's make a list of things to do. Okay. Save and reset buttons should not be active if no changes to field. So if I change this, oh, I can't change it. Okay, that's probably the more fundamental issue, is that you can change value of input. I think that's going to be, we're not going to be able to test anything else until we figure out, okay, that can be changed. Are we, yeah, we are updating. Okay, so it's, so on the fields that immediately sync to the back end, that just works. So it's specifically on the ones that are, that are not immediate, the ones that have this on update. Sure, immediate mode. That's a word. More coffee. Hmm. Okay, so why is that not working? So it must be the case that we're over here. So on change, we're calling on update. Field a new value. On update should be triggering an action because it's doing handle update unsaved settings. So what we should see if we look in the Redux tools, like here we see our action here, update unsaved setting. All right, that's for the one because we are, I don't know if we want to do that though for, if it's immediate, I don't know that we need to call on update. Because that then just puts the change into the unsaved settings. I think we don't need that. Uh-oh. What did I do? Components page of settings, settings.meals.map. Interesting. So I'm... But if we navigate here... Okay, still doesn't work. Huh. Why was it working before? Interesting. So we have settings, but we don't have settings.meals apparently. We should probably and he's bite us again. Okay, so yeah. Oh, it's undefined, right? Okay. Not sure why that's not present. Well, I have a guess. Where's settings coming from again? Settings is coming from our selector from the store. Right. Should we not instead... When did I just make that change? I mean, if we're... This is just kind of a proxy for this, right? If we're loading... We don't have anything to show, otherwise we can list the meals. Ah. That's what's wrong. So VS Code broke this morning, or specifically the GitHub Copilot was behaving very oddly, wasn't loading properly, and I ended up uninstalling. And then I realized that I had the 32-bit version, so I installed the 64-bit version of VS Code, and that seemed to break everything, all the extensions. So I ended up just deleting all of my extensions. So we're gonna be going through and re-adding them. There we go. All right. Beautiful. The page loads. All right. Lots of undefineds. Fetch rejected. Why? Oh. Unknown unit system LB. What has happened? You step away for something for a week and then everything is just... Well, I guess it was intentionally kind of left it broken, but... Unknown unit system LB. That should be... Yeah, here we go. This is the backend complaining. When we are attempting to get user settings. It's odd that maybe this was complaining and we weren't just noticing it before. Let's see. Right, so somewhere we have like a weight unit. I would have preferred to have like enums for these things, but we're currently using SQLite for the DB, and Prisma doesn't support enums for SQLite. Which, I mean, it could just be like, you know, they could have some lightweight thing that does it, that does it, you know, not client side, but not in the DB, just to kind of have it so that it would be compatible with. But I mean, eventually this is probably going to be connected to like Postgres, so it's just kind of annoying that I can't have my cake and eat it too, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so weight unit is unit system type. Okay, so it's supposed to be metric or imperial. Or were the values there? And I think in a previous incarnation of this, I was using actual unit measures. Okay, so that should be good now. Let me bring that back over. We refresh. There we go. Interesting though, we should probably, like, we did get an error back. It wasn't really a nice error for the user, but we did get an error back for the request. That error should probably, like, we should tell the user that there was a problem loading the data rather than showing them a bunch of undefineds. Put that in the list. Show error if problem getting data from server. Yep. Oh yeah, that one too, but get there eventually. User can change value of input field when not in immediate mode. Okay, like we should be able to change this, but we can't. What about, yeah, we can't change any of these. The ones that are saved directly to the back end. Uh-oh. Oh, I see. We just get the same, like the error propagates to all the fields. Oh, there's one up here too. Okay, so this needs some work. What is the issue though? So we provided diary visibility, and it's supposed to be visibility. Okay, interesting. Just kind of working through all the issues. Okay, so Git user settings takes visibility and puts it into diary. Okay. I see. So we just need to do the opposite. Yeah, even the procedures input validation says that it should be diary visibility. So we just need to map that. Yeah, this is the update. What I'm thinking about now is that this is still going to pass diary visibility into this. I don't know if Prisma will complain about the extra thing that it doesn't know about, but it's probably easier if we say data. Let's see, how would we do this? Data equals input. There we go. And then that can allow us to strip out diary visibility and birth date. And then we'll read those directly. And rest element needs to be last, of course. Okay, so that should make it a little happier. So we can then, maybe that's the first time I ever tried changing the visibility. All right, so that was successful. We still have all these errors from before. Clear errors. When the user changes input field? On successful save? Yeah. Oops, don't need to save that. Let's refresh. Get rid of all those errors. All right, so now we're private. So that did save. Weight units. Yeah, so here I'm sending kg. I think there's another bug. Weight units. So this needs to be metric, and imperial is the language I decided on for representing those. So all of these are metric instead of saying kilometers or miles or whatever. What did I do with the energy unit? I don't know. Is this? Yeah. I think for now I'll just leave this out. I think this was something I was going to go back and figure out what I was going to do about that. All right. Can't just do that, of course. There we go. Yeah, metric and metric, and then the other ones. Okay. Okay, back to the fact that we can't change these. So are we getting? Yeah, we're running our action. We're saying, hey, we want to update the unsafe setting, time zone to US Mountain. It's not doing anything. Like if we look at the state, we have settings, we have unsafe settings. Oh, it is setting it to mountain. right? That's why there was no diff. It's because it was already there. Like if we went back to this one and look at the diff here, here's what changed. The issue is that we are not looking at unsaved settings when we're showing the value. I think our select settings selector should be doing that for us. Oh, this is backwards. Yeah, obviously we want to take all the existing settings, and if there are any unsaved settings, we want to apply those on top of that. All right, so that should fix that and give us new problems. Unknown unit system kg. Probably I just saved. One sec. User record. Refresh. Yeah, I just saved over with the wrong value. So if I save this and we go back to here and refresh, no more error. But now click US Mountain and it is there. If we click save, okay, what just happened? So we had update unsaved setting, which modified this unsaved settings to be US Mountain, and then did settings update, and that action had time zone US Mountain, and it was fulfilled. Like if we look at the network tab, update user settings, response. So this looks successful. So like if we were to refresh, it should say US Mountain. It does. So why, when we click this and save it, does it wipe this out? So if we look at the store, okay, so we're fulfilled now. If we look at state, so unsaved settings is empty, and settings contains time zone US Pacific. Okay, so what's up with that? Oh, hey, Mono NZ. How's it going? Thanks for the follow. Pretty good, you know. Sunday morning, it's almost 9 o'clock here. Getting some coffee in, working on the side project. Right. Yep. Ooh, 2 a.m. Late night or very, very early morning? All right. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out. Watching me try to figure out how to make this thing work. Been working on this project for, yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's, you know, slow to start, but I think it's just going to take a while to to, you know, see where things go. I'm just gonna chip away at this and see what happens. Right, so why is the selector not giving us a value? I mean, it should, right? State settings, so that gives us the top level settings object, and then we grab settings out of that, and then like unsaved settings now should just be an empty object. Yeah. So you're streaming too? I'll have to check you out sometime. Let's see, how do I... Let me not accidentally ban you. Can I just... There we go. Okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, native app stuff. Yeah. I have been thinking about this, of like thinking about how this might work in a mobile app. Ultimately, this is kind of a pet project for me because I use MyFitnessPal for like calorie tracking and stuff, and they recently made it so that you have to, like, if you want to use the barcode scanner and other features, you have to pay for it. And I guess I would rather spend like 100 hours coding an app rather than paying $5. But you know, it's just kind of a fun side project, doing more front end stuff, because I don't get to do a lot of that in my day job anymore. More back end focused things. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, unsafe settings is an empty object, so why... Like, so this object assigned should still have everything? Let's... we don't have... Like, we're not passing settings as a prop or anything, otherwise I could probably just use the React tools. Using OBS. Okay, I think I'm just going to console log whatever's in settings. No, just singular. There we go. Time zone undefined. Well, that's at least consistent. But why? Huh. It's a bit of a mystery. Yeah, this is React, not React Native. Yeah, we have, so this is React, Next.js, obviously Typescript. I have kind of a custom data store thing using RxJS, and that's kind of what I've been working on recently in the stream a week ago and in this, and I don't know, for however long it takes to replace that custom store with Redux, because I want to have it so that I can have offline capabilities, so like you can have this on your phone or just like operate without a network connection. So it kind of like it would be a mobile app, but just purely in a browser. And then when you go back online, it can sync. Oh no, tabs versus spaces. I like prettier, so I don't think about code formatting. I haven't thought about it for a long time. Just prettier on the code, like VS Code extension that does it, and then and in my work projects, like I have a thing in GitHub that'll auto format any checked in code. Oh, they changed the settings? Oh, well. I mean, there's something to be said for tabs in terms of it's more compact from a per byte perspective. But I can't be bothered with that. No, maybe not. Maybe not super relevant in 2023. At least not for web dev. Not for this. Yeah, I'm just not seeing why time zone is undefined here. Maybe I'll just start working on something else, and it'll come back. It'll become obvious eventually. Okay. So what else is wrong with this? Maybe we can address the fact that the save and reset button shouldn't be there if there are in fact no changes to save. I think that's something we'll need another selector for. Yeah, probably something that allows us just to see the unsaved settings. Right, so in our little wrapper function here, there should be additional props that we can pass into this. How did this work? Oh, I see. So the intent is that, oh, let me get rid of my console log. So under the, so these radios and inputs and everything, these are all coming from the MUI, the Material UI. I guess we're wrapping them here. Oh, right. So we have these wrapper components that are wrapping a form control and the MUI input. I see. And so right now these are looking at value versus initial value, but we don't have initial value here anymore. And so that's why we lost the behavior of having the save and reset buttons be disabled. So the options are, I could pass in both the value from, let's see, get rid of that. There we go, back to here. Separately pass in the values from settings and unsaved settings. One is the initial value and one is data. And that way I can pass through to the underlying component. Or, is there anything else using these components? Adam's input, Adam's radio, etc. Because if not, okay, this uses that. How does it use units at input? Does unit at input have initial value? I could just change the way the props work for these components. That's what I was thinking. To have it directly pass in whether or not it's dirty or it's been changed or it is pristine or something. I don't know. Yeah, so we use that. Right, so whenever we use unit to input, it's an immediate. Right. Which this is kind of a smell too, right? So that the reason this works or doesn't, it's not inconsistent, is because we're always passing true here, which means that this is not going to try to pass in these other props. Well, okay, anyway. Oh, yeah. I guess if I'm commenting out that section, I can comment out the explanation too. What do? Take a sip of coffee. That's what do. Well, let's look at the one of these input components again. And how are we using initial value? I see. Okay. So I might just change this. Okay, so it extends that connected component props interface. Okay, so let's change this. We're gonna get rid of initial value. And we're gonna do that, and that's gonna break some things. And then we need to do, yeah, like I said, it's gonna break some things. Yeah, let's make that optional, actually. Yeah. Boolean or undefined is not assignable to Boolean. Yes, indeed. Okay. And then we need to fix well, our stories. So this should be already true. And then all right. I feel good about this change. This is reducing code. Kind of distilling down what's going on. Should be true. And then select also has to have this. Okay, then unused import there. Okay, so what do we need to do for this to have the same behavior? Okay, what is raw value? Okay, this could be null. If raw value were null, then we should use this. Okay, let's move this out a bit. Does this? Okay, unit input doesn't extend, the props don't extend their connected component props, so that's fine. All right, so let's call it input value. And then we'll have a conditional, and So if we have a raw value, I think that's what we want. Yep, and then if it is valid and we have the value, then we want to do this. Copilot knows. Right, and we're doing this because the underlying input component no longer takes an initial value. The question is, how are we going to figure out okay, I think I see. All right, so anyway, this is going to be input value. Okay, and then we can do dirty is, okay. So that should be the exact same logic as what was there before, just all moved here. Okay. So now what we need to know in connect component is, for a given field, do we have an unsaved setting for it? Yeah. I guess essentially what we want are the keys from the unsaved settings, right? Because when we, after we save, we do, I think we completely wipe out unsaved settings. Yeah, clear. Yeah, we remove it completely. So if we look at the keys of unsaved settings, then we know what is unsaved. So what we want in connect component then are unsaved settings, which is going to be, let's see, a key of T array. Okay, and then dirty is that. Parentheses. All right, and now it's complaining because, all right, should do something that I should have quite a while ago, which is this is a lot of arguments. How do I want to do this? Okay, we'll just do it's not going to quite work. Yeah. do that? Yeah, so far so good. All right, now this part is just temporary while I do some copy paste. Will this work? Nope. What if I did this? There we go. Oh, you know what? I should do that. Whoops. What did I do? Oh, I don't like that. Oh. I see. And what was the other? Immediate. Right. Okay. Let's make this fast. What is this complaining about? Oh, right, because I don't have unsafe set. Okay, so a couple more objects to close up. Okay, and then add the immediate key. Oh. Not quite what I was after. Do I just want to return the unsaved settings object? I think that's fine. And then here, unsaved settings is object.keys. All right, and that makes it happy. Now, as I'm going through this, I'm thinking there's a lot of repetition here that could probably be taken out. And I think that's what I'm going to do next. All right, this is, I'll just leave it. Okay. It's like all of this is the same. Although it's interesting, this is why we're seeing the error message on every single input. This is probably a place where instead we should be looking if there are errors specific to a specific field and passing those in. And same for kind of a loading status, although I think right now we're not keeping track of, oh, we're currently saving this thing or that thing. So maybe that should just, I don't know. Oh, one too many braces there. And what's the problem here? All right, so we have to specify immediate. Which defaults to true. So really we should not need to specify it. There we go. And just missing that. Okay, so all of this stuff, at least for right now, is going to be common across all of those. Connect props equals this. Okay. And so could have probably saved myself some trouble if I would have just done this first. No type errors. What does it look like? Mm-hmm. Okay, that is not good. What happened here? Okay, we have update unsafe setting. Let's look at the action. Okay, and then let's update. Yep, and that was fulfilled. Now we're still stuck with the same issue where time zone is somehow undefined in the huh. That's interesting. It's interesting looking at the diff, right? Because the diff is like, oh, well, we'll remove this value, right? But the state says that unsafe setting is an empty object. I suspect this may not be the whole truth. Right. Which means in our selector, probably what we need to do here object dot entries dot map. Yeah, something like that. Not quite. Yeah, that part is right. And then kind of the opposite of that. Okay. Okay, map dot filter. Interesting. Would that work? What is this complaining about specifically? Map. Unsafe settings. Entries map. Yep. Interval read only, yada yada yada. Entries. Hold up. Sure. Let's see, the type argument for map specifies what's coming back. So it's either going to be well, really string unknown, or it's going to be null. Right? The key is a string. If value is undefined, return null. Otherwise, return key value. And then filter. Yep. Okay. Can we tell you that the value coming back is going to be specifically this? Okay, value is a string unknown tuple or null. Not assignable to type. Signature must be a type predicate. Right. Okay, so this maybe will fix our issue with, like, if I click this and save, that's still there. Now, notice how it still says save reset. It's because this is a lie. There is a key in unsaved settings for time zone. Which is unfortunate. Right, so our slicer, the magic under the hood that we can, you know, mutate unsaved settings and then it actually applies it to the store, does not in fact, wait. Oh no, this is here. This, right. Okay. Okay. This is my fault. This is we just need to do this differently. Can one do something like this? Wait, no, it goes the other way, right? Okay, and then okay, so then I think that we don't need any of this anymore. Fun exercise. Refresh. Let's pretend we've moved to Arizona. I don't know. Bam. Okay, move back to the West Coast. Excellent. Okay, back to the to-do list. Okay, user can change value of input field when not in immediate mode. Check. Yep, did that too. We are showing the error. I think right now, because it's weird to show the errors per field when we're not segregating the information about the errors per field. Let's just get rid of that. Clear errors on successful save. So this error, we're getting select settings error. We're just looking at error in settings. So I think we just need to, yes. So when we fulfill, state.error should be null. Yes. Or if we fulfill here, yeah. Okay. So that's that. All right, what is this complaining about? All right, error should be optional-ish. Okay. All right, I think it's about time for a little break. Back to it. So, how does this work? Okay, we have our list builder component. Right. So on add, we use the old actions. This is tying back to the RxJS-based store thing that I had built before. Right. Okay. So maybe this is a good place to add a new slice. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we can just incorporate it here. It is part of the settings page. I don't think we, like this meal edit thing. Right, here's the dialogue for that. Too many tabs. All right. So if we added this information, I mean, what are we trying to track here? I mean, we have the meal information already in the store. Like, here's the list of meals. The only thing that we would really need to add to the store is maybe, like, if we're editing, which one we're editing, or if we are wanting to add a new one, basically whether or not the modal, the dialogue should be visible or not is kind of the information. So that, and if there is an item being edited, what it is, or if it's a new item, just kind of the unsaved item would be what we would be storing. If we want to remove items, we don't need to store anything there. We just need to trigger an action that we would have a thunk responsible for calling the tRPC endpoint, whatever it is. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So what is item here? It's just a record. Let's go back to meal edit. It's basically just this. ID, label, and start hour. So, what are the pieces of information? Not necessarily editing, but you know, is this dialogue open, right? Editing meal, which is a Boolean, and then unsaved meal, which is either null or it's an object that potentially has an ID. Oops. And then has a label and a start hour. Does it though? How do I want to represent this? I'm kind of tempted to just have it so that, yeah, it's just like this. And either, so there could just not be an ID. If there is an ID, it has a number. The label could be initially an empty string. Which is what happens, like if you call on add here right now, then this is undefined, and so label is falsy, some kind of falsy, and so it just ends up being an empty string, and then this would initially be 0. So I think just having these, there will always be an unsaved meal. Makes sense. Does it? I mean, since we have this editing meal Boolean, Alternatively, we could get rid of this and then say this is null or the object. And so that then we just have this one piece of state that represents, are we even editing a meal or not? If we're not editing, then it's null. If we are, then there should be an object there. It's at least compact. Okay, and so we'll initialize this as well. Yeah, so this is going to have to change. I think we don't have, we don't have a story or anything for this, so we're pretty free to just change how all this works, have it pull from the store and all that stuff, and that'll be fine. All right, so somewhere in the component tree, yeah, so like in the top level layout, we have this meal edit dialog. So this is just there, and it is inside a store. Wait. This is, I think the Redux store is outside of this. I think we put it into app. So I think we'll still have the Redux store. This thing here, the store context.provider, is going to go away because that's our custom store. Yeah, and app is where we have the Redux store. So that'll be there. So we'll be able to read the information out of the store instead of doing all this stuff. All right. So, some actions. Add meal. Yep. Although, to be consistent with how we're behaving right now, it should look like that. Okay. Interesting. Does that look right? That takes whatever's already in the unsaved meal and then drops payload into it. And makes it so that whoever is calling this action has to provide the information, which there should be an ID there. So if we do that, it just still says payload any. Okay. Well, anyway. And then on remove, so for removing, we need a thunk. Okay. Yeah, sure, we can call it that. Yep. Now, is that... Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, procedures, meals, delete meals. So this should be like base tRPC.meals that remove meals. It's not. What do we have then? Delete meals. Remove. It takes IDs. So I think we just literally pass it payload. Great. Okay. Then we just have to add the cases. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. What does it think I'm supposed to do here when remove meals is fulfilled? Set saving back to idle, set error to null. Okay, and then settings, it's just settings copied, and then meals, we'll just exclude all the meals that have an ID that is in the list of IDs. Okay, sure. That's not too weird. And if there's a rejection, we save the message. Saving is idle. Okay, interesting. Cool. All right, so actions. Add meal. Wait. All right, no. So we want to, yeah, let's do this. Const handle add meal. Nope. Dispatch. All right, so we just import the things. We want to remove meals. All right, so we need to, that's the part that I missed, is that we need to re-export the other actions. There we go. And then, yep. That doesn't seem quite right. So for update meal, thinking about this, is this the right name for this action? We're not actually adding the meal at this point. We are... edit new meal. Edit existing meal. I think those are better action names for what we're trying to do. Okay, and then edit existing meal takes an action. So how's this working here? Okay, handle add meal. We have the item. Do we have any type information about that? It doesn't know. Okay. Well, it should look like this, except it will have an ID. And then we will dispatch that. What's the problem here? What does that T do? Let's builder props T. Oh, T is just the type of the ID. Can we do that? All right, and then yeah. How much does that item U void is not assignable type? Okay, all right, so action button here also needs to accept that type parameter then. For the sake of consistency, I'll call it U here as well. Okay. Now item. Oh, no. I guess that shouldn't have been changed. No, it needs to be changed, which means this item what if we just say U? Then it's unhappy. T are undefined. So if we get rid of that. Okay. Okay, well that made it happy. Alright, so then handle remove meals. It's the last thing we need to add here. Okay. Didn't like that. Right. Same issue where it doesn't like that. Number is not assignable to, okay, so it wants an object. There we go. Well, I think that's everything needed on the settings page. So then in meal edit, all this has to be redone to use the information. Right, so then all of this is going away. Do we need use state here? Hopefully not. Right, so we're going to so when we're here and we want to update the label or the hour, can we just use the edit existing meal action? Oh, we also don't have a cancel action, which we need. Cancel meal edit. Okay. That'll be useful for this. This, I think, is probably just wrong. Because initial start hour is going to be... Okay, well, anyway. One thing at a time. Okay, so this goes away. This goes away, and that goes away, and that goes away. It all goes away. And then that also can go, and that, and that. Feels like some good progress right there. We are going to need some of that. There we go. We want to select unsaved meal. Meal. we show the dialog if meal is not null. And then let's say this takes a callback. Right, so when we interact with the dialog and tell it to close, dialog.close no longer exists. We want to make a const handle close. Yeah, something like that. Dispatch. We want to probably just import that, so we want to cancel meal edit. There we go. So that will be what we pass into that. And then this meal.label label. On change, if I go back to what Copilot had originally suggested here, where we just dump whatever's in payload, then I think this becomes pretty simple. Say const handle field update. Then we don't have to worry about any of those details. It's not update meal though, it's edit existing meal. Edit editing meal existing. There we go. Except it's not. It's this. There we go. And then this becomes what am I? Oh, there we go. And that. I don't need the semicolon there. All right. And then we do something similar here. But we grab time.hour, and this is start hour, and this is simply meal.startHour. Need that handle close again down here. When do we want this disabled? Well, label's never going to be null, but label, if the label is an empty string, then it can be disabled. Of course, it's meal.label, and I don't think this is really applicable anymore, so get rid of that. Don't need the extra parens there. If dialog is open, I don't think that's necessary. This needs to be essentially a handle sending the meal, like upserting meal, which we don't have the thunk for yet, but we will. I think it is actually called upsert. Yeah. Call this handle save. Yep. I don't think we need the e.prevent default here, which means we can just do this. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. So handle save needs to do something like dispatch. Save meal. And we just have to define that thunk. Here it knows that there's an upsert meal, so it's going to call it that. Yep. Sure. Sure. I think I just want to call it save meal, though. All right, and then we just have to handle the different cases for saving the meal. So if it's pending, state's pending. I like to skip that parent there for some reason. If it's fulfilled, savings idle, error null. What is this trying to do? It's saying if there are meals, then map the meals. Oh, I see. If the ID matches the ID of the thing that we just saved, then use the payload. Otherwise, use that meal. If there is no meals, just use the payload. The case that misses is if the if this is a new meal. No. I mean, so the issue is going to be that, I don't know. Let's see. That may work. And if we reject, then we do that. Some type errors. Expects there to be a parameter. Right. I guess it's true that in the other cases we're always passing in, we want to pass to the backend. Can we? Okay, let's look at the definition of create async thunk. Async thunk payload creator. The question I'm trying to answer is, can we access the store to grab the currently unsaved meal? Did I have? Okay, let's Google it. Okay, so here's an example where we have Thunk API. What is Thunk API? Okay, accepts 3 parameters: type, payload creator, callback, and options. So payload creator is called with 2 arguments. Okay, Thunk API. Dispatch, get state. Okay. So rather than taking sure. All right. Now this doesn't work. Shouldn't it just be action.payload.id though? Because it's possibly undefined. Sure. Wow. Payload.meal.id? Actually, anyway. I mean, if we don't have a payload, then I don't think we need to do anything here. I guess it's sufficient to check to see if there's a payload. Come on now. It's definitely not undefined. Action.payload is possibly undefined, it says. But if it is, then we can't be here. Come on. Oh, it's because we're in this callback. Okay. So we can just say const meal equals. Because meal will definitely not be that. So then we can just say a meal. If a meal ID equals meal.id, we use the meal. Okay, that does it. This is out of date. Is this just void? I don't get it. Right. What's the confusion here? Any void. Any void. Oh, now it's just that. Right. It's a thunk, and the default dispatch type signature doesn't like it. So, oh, and this does require E. Okay. We never needed this import. So now our meal edit dialog interfaces with the Redux store and should, I guess it should just all work, right? Excellent. Cannot read properties of null, reading label because meal is null, in meal edit. Because none of this should be rendered if see, how do I want to do that? Like, we're not going to show the dialogue. It's not going to be open if meal is null. Of course, we can't read these things anyway. But we have a bunch of things that dereference meal. Like, instead of doing this, I don't know if this will cause problems if we were to just, so we can even do this. We can do this right here. If meal is null, just like don't render anything. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like when we open the dialog. That may cause problems. Like if we edit this, oh, well, we did get the action, edit existing meal. And so now the diff didn't change the state, apparently. Interesting. It should have. State. Oh, is that because I was... There we go. Okay. So unsaved meal now is ID 1 removable false. Label is yada yada yada. Okay, so that's right. Okay. So why didn't the dialog show up? Console. Prop open is marked required, but its value is undefined. Okay, so yep. Can we just say open true? We can. All right. So let's make breakfast earlier and save. Okay, it updated in the UI. It upserted. In Redux, we did see these edit existing. Let's go to the diff. Edit existing. Okay. Pending. Fulfilled. And that cleared unsaved meal, which is why the dialog disappeared. So if I refresh now. Okay, that's good. Let's add one. Let's call it test. Let's make it 2300 hours. Nothing appears. So we edit new meal. That adds our initial unsaved meal. We dispatched many times. Okay, and then we fulfilled. But when we fulfilled, it didn't update the store with our new value. Presumably, if we refresh, there it is. Let's try deleting while we're here. So if I click this and click remove, it goes away. And if I refresh, it should still be gone. Okay. So when we added, this logic does not properly handle showing it, right? Because if this will swap in one, if there was an existing one, or if meals was empty, it will show our single one. But yeah, it's the same issue that if it's a new one, then it doesn't show up there. When we let's try adding and see what that response is. Upsert, and then the response gives us back just our meal, not all of them. Our new meal, that is. Huh. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. So if we don't have meals, we'll have the new meal in the list. If we okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if we don't find meal index, well, should be, if it's -1, then meals dot push, add it to the end. Now this meal is coming from the response, so there will be an ID there. That'll be good. And we want to sort meals. What? Right. A dot start hour minus B dot start hour. That might be right. And then Okay. Let's add a test 2. We'll make it for 2100 hours. All right. So things are sorted properly. This is a lie. It's an interesting lie. The other thing we didn't do is that if else, yeah, there we go. So if we update an existing one, we'll put it into its place. Oh, hey, it's interesting. Okay, so the back end, when it gives us the list, it's not sorted by start hour, which is weird. But regardless, for consistency's sake, we'll do that. Why test 3? Why does it say this item cannot be removed as it has food items logged to it? I think that is an issue of how we're initializing. Come on. It exists. There it is. This is because removable is not being set. When we... Huh. Yeah. Right, so when we grab all of the meals, we get this information, but in the upsert response, we're not. I guess the easiest thing to do is maybe just to there you go. Meal.removable. True. Okay, let's test removing all 3 of these. Okay, that seemed to work. Oh, hey, D2Dev. I'm doing well. How are you? Oh, that didn't work. What was the error? Indeed, an unexpected error. Did we actually get any information about what went wrong? Check the console if not. I don't see it. Failed to upsert because oh, there's already something with that start hour, and we said we weren't going to allow that. Also, our type doesn't like. Oops. Movable. Question mark Boolean. Okay. Oh, I tried to. I tried to change to 1800, and there's already something that say 1800, and we're not allowing the user to do that. We should probably be smarter about like not allow the user to select a time. Like if we're not going to allow in the back end, we should have something here in the front end that says you can't select this time. Although that gets interesting because like I could select 18. Oh, I can't. It's just hours. Okay. So maybe I could disable hour selection here. Also, the spacing is kind of weird with that. Can that be changed without a huge hassle? Maybe not. Okay, well we're gonna test that we could change this. Okay, test 1900 hours. Test 7. Okay, so that works. And of course we can't select these to remove them, as it says. You can't remove meals that have had food items logged to it. So that's good. What's the complaint now? Does not exist on type. Wait. What type is this? Oh, I see. It's derived from this. Okay. Fine. Problem solved. All right. It's getting near to lunchtime for me. Planning on streaming for about another half an hour. What have we got so far here? Bunch of changes. Got the bunch of actions hooked up. Basically completely converted the settings UI to use Redux now. Yeah, I guess that's really kind of the summary of what we've done so far is convert finish conversion of settings page to use Redux. Including this dialogue. I think that having, like, figuring out the dialogue, like how that change is supposed to happen is good, because there are a few more, and the dialogues are kind of the one of the kind of weird areas with the existing RxJS-based store that I made. Where is all that logic? Is it in... Yeah, so here's all these existing actions that were defined for my custom RxJS store. Like, I think we could just start potentially deleting some of these things. Maybe not. Soon though. Soon though. What is going to be the next target? Might be a good thing to figure out. The next thing to convert to using Redux. What do we have going on here? Maybe the diary? It's a pretty chunky kind of part of the code base right now. I guess that's really the other big area is the diary. All right, so we have a bunch of components here. There's meal test 7. Let's delete that. There we go. Whoops. I think I had a day where I had some test data already. There we go. One thing. Or maybe, I mean, so that's the it's not a top level area, but it's a whole set of widgets around kind of like looking at the diary entries, and that might be a good area as well. It's a little bit more complicated because, like, if let's see, if I go back, like, we also like click add to. Oh right, and so this set of dialogues here, including let's see. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work right now. Right, because I don't have a webcam connected. But the barcode scanner, that's unfortunate. I guess there's not a way to like back out of that. That's a bug. But there's a whole. I have a finite state machine using xstate because the kind of the interaction there I felt started to get a little complicated. So I might hold off on that. But I think maybe just the diary itself might be a good target to as kind of a next thing to convert to Redux, right? So, because what are we doing here? So this diary meal. So the component kind of structure. I think we have. Okay, we're not using this diary page yet. Yeah, so we have this quote-unquote organism, this component for the diary. Let me close everything else. There we go. All right, so here, so we have our basic component here that takes the list of meals. And I think, where is... Oh, is there a template? Okay. So that's the structure. So right now, this component just takes the props for the list of meals. So it doesn't, it's basically stateless. And then in templates, we have our custom store and these use observables. So we're using useEffect to fetch this different data. We're sending events to basically dispatch out to then pull data then feed back into these different states that we're observing. And then we're looking at, did we get the data successfully, etc., etc. And then we also have an action here. Again, this is not a Redux action. This is our custom actions that, again, I think. All right, no, this is a different type. Yeah, this is what triggers the display of the add food dialog. And then do any of the components below this look at state or the store or any of that is something I'm not sure about. Let's take a look. So we have all this. What about in diary meal? Okay, so that we have the diary meal component, which just takes all this information. And then we have a wrapper around it called connected diary meal that then again uses our custom store to be able to get settings. So I think this will be good. I think this process will probably end up breaking things until we get to the point where we update the food search, adding whatever dialogue that this triggers. But that'll be like, we'll get through all the other stuff and then come back and fix this part. So like this will probably be for last. So leave this here for now. Once we convert the rest of the components below this to use Redux, then come back and update the add food dialog to use Redux and then address. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just like a to do. This is the next component to convert to Redux. I'm still somewhat undecided on, like, am I going to keep xstate for this dialogue thing that's going on, which obviously right now it's a little bit broken, because there should be, like, when I click, not quick add, that is the wrong thing. When I click add, like, there should be the scanner, because I said go ahead and, you know, I clicked the little icon for that, but there should be a thing to, like, back out of this and go back to, like, a text-based search, but that doesn't seem to be working. Okay. Alright, and I think I'm going to leave this like this because it'll be very obvious next time around where we left off. How is... Did I push those changes? I did, okay. Oh, and lots of dependent bot updates as well to look at, but let's see what... One test failed to render. Oh, I'm probably not logged in. Oh. Okay, settings basic is broken. Okay. So probably should fix that. Okay. Yeah. Right, so we are currently providing the old store provider, but I guess we don't need that anymore. Now we need to provide a Redux provider. For that page story. Store is coming from. Oh, this is. Oh, that is right. Interesting. It's not called value though, it's called store. Okay. Does that fix? Oh, I think it does. That's a little weird, but good. Yeah, I don't have any controls configured here, but that's fine. Okay, so that fixes settings story. You know, this feels like a pretty good place to stop. Kind of wrap things up for now. Getting kind of hungry too, to be honest. So I think we're gonna end this here and pick this back up. Same time next Sunday. I'll be streaming tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday some video games in the in the evening for me. So check my schedule on Twitch if you want to see what's going on with that. It's modded Minecraft Monday tomorrow, and then some other stuff later in the week. Hope you enjoyed watching, and take care for now.